My name is Sterling, and this is Morgan, and we are homies, and we're gonna talk about videos from back in the day, or things from our childhood, things from somebody's childhood, and how they're bringing it back in different ways. And so last week we tried to talk about Power Rangers. We had some audio issues. This week, though, Olive is here to help us to make sure that we have our audio figured out. I'm joined always by the beautiful Olive, yes, but also by the beautiful Morgan. Everybody give it up for Morgan. Woo!
What's up?
Morgan, man. So how you doing this week, bro?
Pretty good. Went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yesterday.
Oh my gosh! And I do believe we can all. Okay, I'll be honest with you, Morgan. I am nervous that we can't be heard because last time, like, I just want to check the audio one more time. I just don't believe it. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
there's no way.
go do your thing, man.
So
I'm gonna
you
get my
talk.
life together.
Huh? Oh, Morgan's leaving. All right. So can you bring us into the bathroom with you, Morgan? Can you just bring us? Can you bring us into the bathroom with you so we can hear you?
Yeah, you can.
All right. I'm gonna click on the thing one more time to make sure I can be heard. I don't believe it. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
there's no
go
way.
go do your thing, man.
So you talk.
Okay,
All
cat.
right. Sounds like
Now
it's
I'm
there.
back.
Sounds like it is there. You know what though? On this thing, I have a way to look at the live chat, and I forgot how to turn that on because I don't see it anymore. Where'd the live chat go? I don't know. If you guys are chatting, just text me or something. I don't know what to say, but anyway. All right, Morgan. Well, thanks for being here, man. How was your week?
It was pretty good. It's just worked a little bit and then was able to go to the arcade and yeah, I played a Pokemon game, got some mini Pokemon game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a separate video of that game. It's I've never seen a game like it in my life. It's like Plinko, but you're Pikachu and you gotta catch all these balls. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
went to the crap. I went to the Dead Theater, our old theater that I used to work at.
Okay.
I'm still trying to support it and keep it alive. It's
It
one of the.
is it in
It's
a mall
probably
that's tearing down or something, like a mall that's going run down?
there's plans for it to be brought back to life again and stuff. But seriously, Player's Choice, that arcade and comic book store is keeping that place alive. Probably
Wow.
more so than the movie theater. The movie
Wow.
theater, I knew was I worked there when they rebuilt it for $12 million. Knew it was a bad idea because I was
Yeah.
like, it's already a dying mall.
Yeah.
you know,
Why would you? Right.
yeah. We got Bass Pro and that's it.
Oh yeah, but there's a Bass Pro there. I remember plans in that mall in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I think they were going to like put up a. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to put up like a dock and try to do something like that because it's on the waterway. It's an interesting place to be so
Well,
run down.
no, for sure. I mean, the crazy thing about that movie theater is it was one of the first movie theaters in the country to transition to digital projectors.
Yeah.
And it was one of 10 places in the country that had 3D at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they released Nightmare Before Christmas to that theater, and it was playing in 4 movie theaters in the country. And I was like, why Myrtle Beach?
Yeah.
Like we had it. They invested in us.
Heck
You
yeah.
know?
Well, that's they believed in you. All right. So one thing I noticed about when we put stuff out on the internet is right now it's not gonna have a big following or anything like that. Maybe 1 or 2 people watch it, but randomly you'll get viewers from, India or something. You get viewers from somewhere else, and so I like to provide a lot of context because there's always people that have no idea who I am, who you are. They might not know the subject matter. So I always try to provide a lot of context, and one of those things
Sure.
is even though, and also I do stand up. Like I did stand up for a lot of West Coast people recently, last week, and I was explaining to them that I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I have to explain to them what Myrtle Beach is. I'm like, just think of any beach town. And Morgan, since you lived on the West Coast, you might know some beach towns. But I was like, tell me some beach towns. I was like, don't tell me the one with the Lambos and stuff. Where's like a more of a gritty West Coast beach town? People were saying,
Um, well,
what do
like
you say?
a West Coast beach town, I wouldn't say. I'd say the closest town to Myrtle Beach out there is probably Daytona Beach, Florida.
No, but I'm specifically talking about. I was doing a show for people on the West Coast. And I
Oh,
said,
oh, like Newport
I'm
Beach,
trying to show them what Myrtle Beach is. So this is a bit. I'm just telling you my stand-up bit.
Venice
I'm
Beach.
trying to tell them, and I'm like, tell me what beaches. They say Venice. I was like, just name all the West Coast beach towns. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe not stuff with Lambos and stuff, not high end, but like where a family might try to go. I was like, they were like, Venice, Laguna, Rat. Somebody said Rat. And I was like, what's that? It's right after Torrance Runway it's this place right after right past LAX. It's called right after Torrance or
Okay.
something. I don't know. And they were just saying these different places, Santa Monica and different places. And I was like, okay, picture Santa Monica and make the mayor Kid Rock. I was like, that's Myrtle Beach. I mean, just picture any, you know what I mean? Like, because we're deep beach town in South Carolina. I was like, beach town, so we got surfboards. South Carolina, so we got shotguns. We have interesting water sports in Myrtle Beach, is all I'm saying. So,
That's funny.
yeah. But I got a lot more bits on that because I was told, I'm a stand-up comic, do shows wherever, and I was told by a couple comedy mentors, like, my material is kind of more geographic. Like, it's like, that's great, that Myrtle Beach material, but that's not going to hit nationwide, and you need to have some stuff that works anywhere. So,
Tell it to South Park when they made a whole episode about
yeah,
Myrtle Beach.
yeah, exactly. And so, Myrtle Beach is mostly known on the Midwest, pretty much most of the Midwest, but all of the East Coast, and that's Myrtle Beach. Is Midwest, East Coast, and I guess when you get lower into Florida, you might not know about it because they don't have a need to. But West Coast, somewhere in the middle of Texas, people ain't going to Myrtle Beach. They don't really know much about it. So what I did is,
Right.
instead of abandoning my Myrtle Beach material, I just thought of funny ways to explain what Myrtle Beach is, and so I have a whole
Oh, of
bit
course.
about that. I'm like, just think of everything, think of every seedy tourist destination you can, and then think of everything you've ever heard of South Carolina, and if you mix those two, that is. So I have a whole bit about all that stuff. Anyway, all that rambling to say is, you're
Like
talking
if
about a mall.
Gatlinburg let you sell fireworks and it was near the beach.
If Gatlinburg had a beach, yeah, I was like, basically, it's rednecks and ocean. Like, if West Virginia had a beach, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think they let you. That is one difference between Gatlinburg and I don't think they let you sell fireworks in Tennessee.
Tennessee doesn't sell fireworks.
Yeah, like some states are illegal. Like it
I'm about
was,
to call their
I
country,
remember
bro. I'm about to pull up
it
that
was a
Tennessee
big
country
thing
card.
because when my dad came to pick me up in South Carolina when I was a kid and go back to Kentucky, they don't sell fireworks in Kentucky like that.
Hmm.
You might be able to get some sparklers and a couple of packs, but you're not getting the good stuff. And that man loaded up the back of his truck with like $400 worth of fireworks.
Was he selling it? Was he going back to make some money? Or he just going back to redneck it
No,
up? Just,
like
we gonna blow some stuff up.
yeah, we gonna blow some stuff up.
There
He
you
was
go.
the blow stuff up guy for years.
I mean, there's some redneck stuff that it's just fun. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, dude, no. Oh, that's like as long as you're not hurting anybody.
yeah,
Like we shot a potato gun that they made out of PVC pipe.
PVC pipe. Yeah.
Yeah, PVC pipe, and then shot at an abandoned car in a parking lot. Like that's some Kentucky stuff.
Nah, I
We
love
got
it, bro.
hairspray to catch it on fire,
Yeah.
and a flamethrower to light it.
Yeah, man. The only time I ever shot a Glock was at a can in the woods, and it was so fun. I was like thinking I'd be good at a pistol, and I was like, it was like 6 shots before I knocked the can down.
Oh yeah,
And I wasn't that far. I was surprisingly, I was not that far away from it.
right.
I'm not a gun person. I don't have problems with it. I just like own them or anything.
My dad always taught me from a young age how to deal with a gun because he just felt like the way he grew up, he wished that somebody would have taught him about
Yeah.
better knowledge, better gun safety at a young age.
Yeah.
And so he let me shoot. Like I got a BB gun when I was probably 9 or 10 years old,
Hmm.
and it was like 21 and up, and I was like, dang, this is a powerful BB gun. It was like it was a pellet gun BB gun,
Yeah.
but I mean, I
That's
learned how to
nice.
clean a gun and take care of a gun and shoot, and all before like I was like 11 years old.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
but yeah, so if there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm not going to be the guy with the revolver. I'm going to be the sniper in the woods wearing camo with
Yeah.
a deer.
That's awesome, Morgan. You know what? You are one of those guys, man. You're like a Barbie doll, if you will, not just because you're a beautiful man, but what I want to say is like you are interesting. If you look at photos of you from different times, like you have the
different
ability to
eras.
look. It's so funny. Like you look in different ways. Like sometimes, like you've had short hair and you kind of look. I mean, I can't say who you look like, but I mean, you just look like a clean. You can look like a very clean cut dude. You can
Well,
also look.
everybody looked like Ted Mosby for about 10 years in the early
Yeah,
2000s.
you had Ted Mosby vibes. You also have you can look like a hippie. You got your hippie down, like you can look like that instantly.
Yeah, I call that the earth tone look. I mean, I had a friend that you and I both knew at one point, Chris Plumley. He was just like,
Yeah.
he was. 'Cause I was like, man, I was like, I just don't want to dress nice all the time anymore.
Yeah,
I used to just wear funny T-shirts and like shirts from Express, and he's
Yep.
like, dude, just wear earth tones. He's like, just get flannels and earth tones, and I was like, oh, okay. And I've always grown out my hair.
right.
I mean, I'll grow that out like maybe once every 5 years. I'll like go 5 years, cut it, and then wait 5 years, grow it out again.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
you keep it
doing
short
that.
for 5 years, you're saying, and then grow it out
Yeah,
again?
like I've
Yeah.
been kind of doing that pattern for as long as I can. I've
Did
been
you
able to
take
grow
after
up.
me? You didn't grow your hair out till me.
No,
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's
I
me.
started growing out my hair because my mom had breast cancer when I was a kid, and I had to shave her head. So
Yeah,
I said I was going to grow it out for Locks of Love patients, and I've donated twice.
that's awesome. I donated once, believe it or
I
not. But
donated to wigs for kids. Actually, they're
yeah,
better.
they don't charge the kids for the
Yeah, they don't
wigs.
charge the kids.
Yeah, that's much better. I think mine was Locks of Love, and I don't think I realized much about wigs for kids till later. Or it was convenience. It
Yep.
was like,
My first one was Locks of Love. Second one was wigs for kids.
yeah, I did that. When another kid we went to school with saw me with long hair. He's like, "Why do you have long hair?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just felt like I should grow it out for kids." And he did it, and now he's always had long hair. For a while. I mean, I ain't checked up on it in a minute, but you know what? It's
Whoa,
funny. I donated my hair for Locks of Love. Like, bro, can I get it back? Can I get that wig? Like, that kid don't need it no more, bro. Like,
right?
that's a funny
Oh
thought for me.
man.
Anyway, but I'm just saying you have different looks, and they all look good. You also sometimes you look like a. So I remember you used to have that cap, and you used to kind of look like a paper boy, like in the
I still got
20s,
that cap.
and then you kind of look like a singer songwriter. You got those kind of vibes, like you could singer songwriter it up. I don't know why I'm talking about your appearance. It's all good things. Not saying you look bad. But
I
it's
don't
funny
know.
you have these
I
different
dress.
distinct looks. Like you could catch like somebody might know you as the singer songwriter guy, and somebody might know you as the paper boy guy, or somebody might know you as like the film director. Somebody might know you as like the Bonnaroo guy or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it could be.
Yeah, you should see my short shorts.
Oh yeah. I like looking different too, but I've kind of just been dadding it for a minute, bro. I was looking. I've been trying to make content off and on for years, and in 2017, I was home for a weekend, so I made a bunch of TikToks, and I was like, I'm gonna be on TikTok. And I was looking, bro. I was wearing this shirt, and I've worn this. If you look at all these videos I've made, I'm in this shirt a lot. And I'm like, bro, I need some clothes, man. I need some
All
clothes,
right, I'm
bro.
wearing my Wild Stallion shirt right now, representing the best band in the universe and of all time.
The Wild Stallions. What's that from?
Bill and Ted.
Yes, yes. Okay, I
Yeah,
remember it. I remember it. I
they
remember it.
saved us from everything.
Oh, dude, we should do a Bill and Ted episode
Oh man,
because
yeah,
I never
I'm down
watched
for
the
that.
new one.
Oh really? Then you got homework to do, sir. I'll watch it
Yeah.
again.
All right.
Um,
Well, yeah. Well, what I was gonna say is, what was Morgan? What was the initial idea for this, or whatever the evolved idea? Just tell me briefly. What was the idea for our Video Homie Stories
oh,
podcast?
what? VHS is just me and you have always loved movies, and it's just two guys talking about movies, whether it be from our childhood or whether it be like some sort of remake or sequel or whatever is coming out. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't know too much about it growing up, but that's Marvel, so
Right.
that kind of stuff falls in the category Marvel, Star Wars, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Last we talked about the lost episode that no one will ever see is Power Rangers once and always,
Yeah.
and it'll once and always be a secret. No one will ever know anything about it.
I
But
desperately want to make it again, although, but like, it was
maybe later
frustrating
down the
last
line,
time.
maybe
Down the road.
yeah, too
Maybe
soon
when
to
they
do.
do another one, we can just do we could tack on both of them or something.
Oh man, maybe we should watch the original '95 Power Ranger movie and then talk about both of them.
Oh yeah, I like it. That was a pretty. I've been wanting to watch that movie again actually for a while. I've been trying to get my family to watch it with me,
It's
and they're
a
like,
good
no.
movie. It's
They're
a
like,
good
no.
movie. There's certain movies like from my childhood that are bad good, and that's one of them. Like Brink. You remember Brink, the rollerblading movie, where
Okay,
like,
yes, but not really. Like I saw it a little bit, but no, I don't
but
really.
you weren't on a Brink train. But Mighty
No.
Ducks, even though 2 and 3 were bad, you still watched them.
Yeah, I did see all the Mighty Ducks, Heavyweights. What was it?
Heavyweights is good though.
Yeah, Heavyweights was good. I saw that a lot. Mighty Ducks, Heavyweights. What was the other one like that? That I know the homie. I met him. The football
Oh,
little Giants.
Little Giants,
Um,
the
Honey,
Big
I Shrunk
Green,
the Kids. With it, the
the
number
Big
two.
Green
What is it?
with the soccer one.
No, I
Had the
didn't
kid
watch.
in the Sandlot.
What are you saying? Timothy Green?
No, the Big Green. It had the kid from the Sandlot.
The
Yeah.
Sandlot though. That's a classic one.
Oh, absolutely. They're supposed to be remaking that, but Disney's in a shakeup right now, and I don't know. They were
Yeah.
in a talk to make a series of the original kid or the original guys coaching their kids.
Oh, that's good. They made a sequel to Sandlot, right? But it doesn't have anybody in it. Like it's not. It's like.
Yeah, it was like a couple generations later, set in the '70s or something.
Mm. That was such a good movie, so classic. Like Field of the Dreams. That was such a classic. Or not?
Oh,
Yes, but that's sorry.
I
I
mean,
didn't mean that.
if
I
you
meant I
build
was
it,
trying to say League of Their Own. I wasn't trying to say Field of Dreams. I said the wrong thing.
oh well, Field of Dreams though. If you
Yeah.
build it, they will come is probably one of the most iconic movie lines ever. You're like, oh man,
Yep.
and then it's like, at one point in life, you get old enough to be like, oh wait, that's true. If you build it, they will come. You know,
Yeah,
you're
man.
like, if I put in the work and yeah, you
The
know,
Rock. I followed a Rock, and he says a little differently, but he says that he believes that the universe meets you halfway. And he says that if you just work and work towards the goal and try to do the thing, he's like the universe comes around you and makes it work. Now me, I'm more spiritual. I don't believe in something like the universe. I believe in God, but I believe that God is he rewards your obedience if you work towards something, especially something he put on your heart. I think God will equip you. And I've seen that plenty of
well,
times in my life.
it all kind of plays. You might be talking about the same thing for all we know, but what I do know is that when I was in my early 20s, I had such a strong determination to do something, and I did it. It was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So that showed me that you can do just about anything if you set your mind to it. Definitely, it was hard. It wasn't easy.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, exactly.
I bent the rules a little bit, but I mean, at the same time, you learn that that wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah.
You know, I chased the dream, and yeah, I wasn't really looking for that dream though.
Heard.
This is talking about movies.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, and that's another thing too that we can do with our movie podcast, where we talk about basically content from back in the day to bring it back and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, to talk about Guardians of the
Is I want to
Galaxy,
talk about your thing too. Sorry, I cut you off. Sorry, my bad. I want to talk about your throughout this podcast experience. I want to bring up your experience in Hollywood because I think that's really cool to share whatever you feel like sharing at different times, but still stay to the subject matter. So whatever you say, Guardians, yeah, we can go from there. But I did want to tell you that throughout the thing, I'd like to
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
ask
we
you
can talk
questions
about
and
that.
stuff.
We'll that'll happen probably, but
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Spoilers right now for
Oh
anybody
yeah,
that doesn't want to
spoilers.
hear this.
Yo, let me put
But
that
it's
on the thing. Let me put that on the chat. Let's see. Fudge, dude. This is how you know you old,
like
bro.
that.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Asking
can talk
questions. All
about
right,
that.
let me put. I'm gonna pin a comment, bro. Whatever, man. It's spoilers. It's spoilers for that. Why can't
Yeah,
I pin the comment? I'm frustrated. I can't pin the. Here we go.
yeah.
Uh, let's see. Spoilers
It's
for
it's spoiled. It's like what are we
Guardians
talking about at all? Like it's not one
of
spoiler.
the Galaxy Vol 3. All right, I'm gonna put this here. I'm just gonna hit this. All right, so there you go. It is there. I'm gonna pin it. There we go, friends. All right, guys. Boom. Let's get into today's podcast. Today's top podcast. We are talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Olive, what'd you think?
Well, she didn't go.
Oh. All
But
right.
I did not expect that movie to be as heavy as it was. First of all,
Yep.
I walked in thinking I was going to do a comedy, and I cried 3 times.
Oh, dude. I cried so much. I recently saw that James Gunn posted like a day or two ago, said that for him, Rocket has always been the
Oh
secret
yeah,
protagonist. Like it's always been about Rocket. He's been the secret
yeah.
protagonist the whole time. What do you take about that?
Oh well, I definitely believe that. I mean, it's easier to sell a movie that to Marvel, be like, okay, I want to make the Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah,
and I want to make it about this guy and his mom and blah blah blah.
yeah,
But like, not tell them that your favorite. I mean, that's kind of for him, and he's gonna
sure.
make. So by the time he gets to the third one, he knows he's going to have some leeway to do what he wants to do.
Oh, heck
He
yeah.
doesn't have to tell them that's his game plan from the beginning.
What do you
'Cause
think that was the
it's hard
game
to sell
plan?
a raccoon. Yeah, I do because
Yeah,
it's hard to sell a raccoon as a lead,
yeah,
But
yeah,
once you get to the third one, you're like, oh shit, this was all about Rocket the
yeah.
whole time.
I think it was really
And,
smart. That was kind of like Todd Phillips with the Joker. He said they wanted to try to make a mental health movie,
yeah,
and
of
they
course.
thought, well,
And
what
that
works? And
that
they're like
movie,
superhero genre.
yeah, that movie made me so uncomfortable. All I needed to see that movie was once. I don't even want to see a sequel because it just like someone help this man. I just wanted.
Yeah.
I was watching this movie. Like, can somebody help this man,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't even watch it because you're my homie and you're like, Sterling, you probably wouldn't even like this. That's how I believed you. I was like, all right, I ain't gonna watch it.
no, you won't. You'll be like, man, he has no friends. Someone can't take him to a movie and out to dinner, and just be like, man, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
No, the so like from what I learned from the Joker, man had no friends.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, complete opposite. It's about family.
Mm-hmm.
It's about doing all that good stuff and finding your own found family when your other families fall apart.
Yeah.
It's very beautifully interwoven with everything that happened in it. It made sense to me that Peter Quill was drunk in the beginning of the movie and was going through all that stuff because of Gamora and all that stuff. He even got closure by the end of the movie with that. So like they went through all, like she doesn't remember him, but then she like at least acknowledged it.
How do
And
you
that's
think they did with that, the closure for Peter? And for those of you watching without the spoilers, he was all about Gamora. Uh, Dude, I'm not going to break down that story. I
well,
started
yeah,
to
yeah,
break it
yeah. I
down.
mean,
Never. I'm not going to go through all
yeah,
that. Anyway,
I
how
can
do you
do that
think they
real
did? Do
quick.
you think it was legitimate or not? Do you think it could have been
Yeah, I
done
think it was
better or
pretty
what?
legit because I mean, how else are you going to do it? I mean, the original Gamora died. This is a different Gamora. I mean, no, this Gamora wants to be herself. She doesn't want to be forced to do anything, but neither did the old Gamora.
Sure.
So I mean, you just got to let things happen. And the fact that she was like at the end, I think she said, "I bet we were fun."
Yeah.
That's all you need to say, and move on, And then Peter pulled a Rambo and went back down to see his grandpa by the end of the movie. That was
Mm.
really great closure for that. I mean, I loved all the closure for all the side characters, like Drax. By the end of the movie, they have a bunch of hostages that they took
Yep.
in,
He
and
gets
so
to be like a
he's a
dad.
dad.
It's really
He
sweet.
gets to be a dad again,
But
and I
that
was
unquieted, well, how do you say it? But that, you can see that love for Mantis, and they're kind of separated now, though.
oh yeah, but I mean, Mantis also made a point. She's got to be herself and find herself and do her own
Yeah,
thing. All she did was work for ego, and then
work for
this.
Guardians. What do you think about? Now, I question some of this as maybe just propaganda and BS and just trying to sell the movies, but we went into this movie thinking, again, spoilers for Guardians. We thought that people were going to die, like we're going to lose some main characters,
Oh, for sure. I mean,
and
I definitely did. They pulled that a few times in the movie too, where you thought you
yeah,
were going to lose them. They pulled your heartstrings very close,
yeah.
closer than I've probably ever seen.
What
In
do
a
you
movie in a long
think
time.
about the fact that nobody did? What do you think about the fact that it seemed like the pre-marketing was like, "Get ready, someone's gonna die," and then
Sure.
no one died? What do you think about that as a
I don't think
filmmaking
anybody had to.
decision?
I don't think anybody had to. I think these movies are about, coming together and finding your people, and they're always going to be your people, your newfound family, no matter what you've gone through. And
Yeah,
then you go on to better things.
yeah,
That was kind of the story. So no one had to die. No, that wasn't there. No one needed to save anybody.
yeah,
And anybody that really almost died in the movie wasn't necessarily on purpose. Nobody like jumped in front of a bullet for
right,
anybody else. I mean, that was just all close calls
yeah,
and maybe getting shot by like a stray or something like that.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I just thought that was pretty cool.
I thought it was dope, man. I thought it was yeah, you know, Marvel has put out some crappy movies lately and just okay movies. And so Marvel kind of set the bar of like, I think, a lot of superhero movie work had been done prior, so it's hard to say like one pivotal thing because like you could take it all the way back to Superman in the 70s, how, it added legitimacy or whatever. But every genre has done it, or every iteration of superhero movies have added legitimacy, brought this to the main culture, and also had parts where it's like, this is too cheesy, we don't want to watch this, all those kind of things. And I think Marvel's kind of going through that. But for a while there, they really helped establish a new thought, kind of with the Russo brothers and stuff, is that superhero doesn't need to be a genre, it can be a type of film. Whereas,
Oh,
like, you could have superhero movies that are action thrillers, some that are suspenseful, some are horror, some are spy thrillers, some
yeah,
are
summer comedies.
some are comedies, but it's super. It's kind of like superheroes now, or like space. You can have all kind of space movies. It doesn't just have to be like a genre in itself. So one thing about these Marvel movies is like Phase 4. has kind of, in my opinion, and I think the internet, most of the internet shares this opinion, has sucked a lot. Like a lot of the projects
Oh yeah, the turn.
has
I mean,
sucked.
it's a turning point, right? What they're
Yeah.
doing right now is they're basically doing what they couldn't do the first time around.
Oh, what do you
First
mean
time
by that?
around, like with Iron Man, they just jumped into a universe.
Mm-hmm.
There was no ground building for
Mm-hmm.
this universe, and so they kind of went all out and eventually built a story. I mean, they didn't necessarily have one that connected. They didn't know they were going to do Thanos until probably after Avengers 2. And then they mapped out the next few
Yeah.
stories. So they were getting their feet wet with really getting on the story planning. And now they're like, no, we want everything connected.
Yeah.
And I don't think that everything's necessarily bad. Like, I loved She-Hulk. I loved Loki. I loved,
I have mixed thoughts on She-Hulk, but I'll be glad to talk about those. I had mixed thoughts, but it was like it had some of my favorite moments in Marvel of all time. It also was like some of my most frustrating moments. I just so it was like it's funny to see a project that has both like things I hated and things I loved
yeah,
simultaneously. That's how I feel about She-Hulk. But go
I
ahead. What
mean,
were you, yeah, Loki was dope though. I think that's pretty much
WandaVision
universal.
was great.
WandaVision. Yep.
I mean, so like they've been doing better. Their movies, not necessarily. Shang-Chi was a great movie.
I love Shang-Chi. I thought it was so dope. I think
Yeah,
it doesn't get the credit it deserves or
I can't
whatever.
talk crap about that movie. It's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
The one that stunk for me was The
That
Eternals.
was the worst movie maybe of all time. I mean, it was Batman, Superman bad.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty bad. And then like I don't know, it's been 8 movies and they haven't talked about like any of that lore
I'm
since. They're
hoping
like,
that happened in some side universe, like
yeah, they're like, okay, we can just drop this. Maybe this didn't take off, but apparently, I've been reading all kinds of stuff. They've been trying to get it as right as they can with all their stuff. They reshot Echo, which is a TV
they
series.
reshot it. Is that why it's coming out later? It's coming out. They released
Yeah,
the release date.
I read an article and said Kevin Feige or whatever said that it was
Feige.
Feige or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it was unwatchable.
Dang. All
And
right.
they're like, it was not at the Marvel status, so they reshot a lot of it.
Well, hopefully Marvel status for like Phase 3, because Phase 4, I would say had so much. I thought Phase 4 had so much crap in it, but it had some things that stood out for me. I think the Loki, the WandaVision, the Shang-Chi, the Spider-Man. I think probably the highlight of the whole thing was the Spider-Man 3 movie.
Oh yeah, but I'm waiting for the deal where I can get that on Disney Plus because I
Yeah,
haven't
well,
been
they're
able to
working
watch
it.
it.
The
I've only seen it once.
yeah, the Spider-Man movies are coming there. I don't know if all of them are, but I mean, now they finally have 5
Yeah.
Sony Spider-Man movies on that platform now. So that's good. What else was Phase 4? I liked.
I like Doctor Strange too.
Doctor
Multiverse of
Strange.
Madness.
Okay, those are my two. It's like Spider-Man, Doctor Strange are my two favorites from Phase 4.
Yeah,
And
Doctor
then
Strange was the first that I felt of the horror that they're introducing into Marvel, and it was who better to get for that than Sam Raimi, the guy that's done superhero
that
movie and
and
Evil Dead
horror,
movie.
yeah. And for me, I didn't feel. I am not a horror fan exactly. But that movie didn't feel horror to me, other than the fact that it did have like a lot of dark stuff in it. But it
It had
was
jump scares.
still, it had
You
some
know,
jump
it had
scare. Yes, you were on the edge of your seat. I think, to be completely honest, in a theater experience, I think I was more afraid in what do you call it? What's the Incredibles 2? Did you ever see the Incredibles 2? I saw that in the theaters, dude. It's surprisingly it's a cartoon, but it's watch Incredibles 2. Maybe we should do an episode on Incredibles 2, but like it has some stuff in it. You're like it definitely had some like kind of creepy moments, and but I
Sure.
feel like they were kind of on par. But yeah, Doctor Strange, I thought was going to be more horror than it was, and I didn't. As a person that's not a big horror fan, I think that was one of those shining moments of
And
Phase
as
4.
good as Guardians 3 is, I don't even know if I can necessarily place it in Phase 4 because it doesn't feel like it has anything to do with anything else in
Well,
Marvel.
it's in the start of
Is it
5 now.
5?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I
it's
think
5.
5 is Ant-Man.
Quantumania started off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And that movie was such a letdown for me. Which brings up another great point. I had this thought, and the internet also all about it. Did you see Quantumania?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think of Jonathan Majors? Outside of he had some problems, Jonathan Majors trying to
He's
get
good.
canceled for that.
He
Outside
did a
of
good
that,
job.
his
Did a great
performance of
job.
Kang. What did you think of it?
I liked it.
I thought I was watching it, and this is before any of the drama came out about him, so it's not like I had this influence in my opinion. But I watched it, and I was like, this guy's not that scary to me as a villain. I didn't.
Because this is one of the. It was different. I think it's going to be a different Kang every single time.
Yeah,
You know,
I
'cause there's
think
so
that might
many.
be the case. Yeah.
So this one you might not have liked, but I'm like, nah, he did the job. Like we need one that Ant-Man can beat. You
Now
know,
that perspective helps me, and that's a good perspective. That's a pretty good perspective, actually. Yeah, that maybe we need one that he can beat. Because I'll be honest with you, in that movie, there's a bonus credit. Remember, spoilers for whenever spoilers for all Marvel, actually. But in that movie, there's that bonus scene where they show a clip from season 2 of Loki that's coming out.
oh yeah, they had all three of the variants or whatever, or the timely.
No, not that one. The one that did you watch the second one where it's there's Loki and
And yeah, Mr. Timely and the old, and he's wearing the wig and the.
yes. Okay, that to me, that variant of Kang was the creepiest I've seen Kang so far. He's been depicted now in 2 projects, and this is the Loki season 3 will be
Yeah,
I'm guessing the third. But that was the creepiest for me was that one, and it was the very end of the credits
because
of
he
the movie.
reminded you of the old guy from Boys in the Hood, isn't it? You ever
Uh,
seen
are you
Boys in
talking
the
about
Hood?
are you talking about Tales from the Hood?
Or Tales from the Hood. That's what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
The
Maybe
old guy that
so.
ran the funeral parlor.
That gosh, oh my gosh, that was creepy, man. That was interesting. That's a good movie too. That was interesting too because like I was inundated with a lot of that culture. My mom was fascinated
That
by
was
that.
just like everyone, man. Everyone in the mid '90s was listening to gangster rap. Every 10-year-old
Yeah,
white kid was listening to gangster rap and was interested about what those dudes were doing.
yeah.
And Tales from the Hood was just it was a bad cheesy movie. If
It
anybody
was
has not
cheesy,
ever
but
seen that,
as a
add it to
kid,
the list
it
for
scared me.
October around Halloween.
Yeah,
Throw you get some popcorn and
yeah.
know that it's just a bad movie, and that's okay. And it's going to be entertaining.
It was entertaining and creepy to me though. I was a kid though,
Oh
but
yeah, no, yeah, it'll still some of it'll scare you. It's like Tales from the Crypt vibes.
no, yeah, for sure. One thing that got me about that movie is in real life, I hate zombie movies, and it's got a similar thing. The reason is I think have a real fear in real life about the inhumanity of humans. Like
Oh,
when
for sure.
when there's a large group of people. One of my favorite lines in cinema is delivered from Tommy Lee Jones to Will Smith in Men in Black, and he said, "A person is smart, but
People are
people are
stupid.
stupid and panicky."
Yeah,
And I was like, yeah, and that to me is scary that people the inhumanity. So when you look at so anything we talk about Western slave trade, how this country was built off the back of slaves from Africa, and when
yeah.
you look at like the inhumane ways that these people were treated, that's a real it's a heart pulling to me. Like it hurts my soul to think about these things. And sometimes I watch documentaries or I watch a production or film about it, and you see how slaves are being treated, and it hurts so bad. Like it hurts to see. I'm not one of these white dudes that are like can't see it because of their guilt. I mean, I ain't feel no guilt. I grew
Kind of
up
like
poor.
Rocket and
Like, you know what I
Guardians of
mean?
the
But it's
Galaxy
hard to
3.
see.
Like Rocket and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm gonna bring it back full circle
Yeah, there you go. That is bring this back. Yeah. Rocket was I had a point
because
about Kang I want to talk about too, but yeah, let's
oh
get
yeah.
off of this. Let's get off to talk about slave. But I mean, it's hurtful. It hurt to see,
Well,
but also, yeah, Rocket had some scenes that were very
well, it's like
heartstring
animal
pulling.
abuse. I felt like
Yeah.
I was watching a PETA commercial for
No.
half the movie, and maybe you
Yes.
should have been. It's like you need to realize that animals are treated this badly. And that was a
Yep.
very big advocate for it. Spoiler alert, Rocket had friends like when
Yeah.
he was little that, did not make it. And they
Right.
become big parts of that movie. And that was really cool. It's those three characters showed why Rocket is humane and instead of really bad.
Yeah.
Like it showed him what, and so Rocket gets shot in the beginning, and it's a whole bunch of flashbacks.
Yeah.
Didn't expect this movie to be a bunch of flashbacks about Rocket's life, but that was pretty cool. And they did them in really good times. There's movies that don't use flashbacks at the right time, or
Yeah.
like like we just went to a flashback, and then it's like one scene and then a flashback again. You're like, how
Sure.
many times are we
How
flashing
many
back?
flashing back? Right, all right, right.
You know, and they probably had about maybe 10, 15 flashbacks in that
A
movie, but
lot of them, yeah.
they were paced very well.
And I think they told the story really well too. I agree. But that is one thing I did feel like I was watching a PETA commercial for a minute of it. I was like,
I was like, Sarah McLachlan's going to play it in the
bro, I was like feeling bad. I was like, bro, I was about to go eat a cheeseburger after this movie. I don't know. We actually watched it in a movie theater, like a studio movie grill type of thing. It's a place,
Yeah.
like a place that they delivered food, and I was eating pizza, and I was like, why'd I have to get pepperoni while I'm watching this movie?
I'll have an LT. Hold the bacon.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, hug the bacon for me. I'm sorry, buddy.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Just tastes delicious. I just saw Cat Williams clip. It was like Cat Williams defending creation versus evolution. He's like, gosh, it's too long to explain it just to get to the punchline. But basically, he was like, look at this pig. Look at this pig.
Yeah,
Who would put bacon so easily accessible on a defensive animal? Look at bacon right on the side
right.
of it. Who would do that? Jesus. Anyway, Cat Williams hilarious.
um,
But yeah,
man, so
man.
what do you think about the character of Adam Warlock in the movie?
Okay, so one trope I don't like in superhero movies, and that also scares me, and again, it goes, I think, back to that core fear of inhumanity in humans. I don't watch The Boys because there's something especially scary or bothersome, triggering, whatever to me, like Brightburn. It's crazy to think the person that made these Guardians movies that are some of the highlights of all superhero cinema of all time also made Brightburn. And Brightburn's a horror movie. Basically, it's the idea is like if the Superman story happened, but if it was like horror, like if the kid was like, "Oh, I'm an alien, I'm just gonna murk everybody," and the
Yeah,
boys is corrupted superheroes and they do whatever they do, and so the horror to me, the scary thing is like if you have great power and you just just can kill
well, I
or hurt
mean,
people easily or by mistake.
misaligned power and the thought of doing good is what this world has been built on.
There's a lot of that. Yeah, no, and I think about how it translates into our real life also, and that's
Sure.
scary. Like,
But I mean, one thing I can say about it, the movie and what they did with Adam Warlock is I thought Adam Warlock was going to be the main bad guy of the
mm,
movie. And they did a really good job of making you think that through marketing that, hey, this is the main bad guy. And really, he's a human born from a grown and
yep,
engineered alien human, and he's dumb.
yeah,
And
he's kind of stupid.
I kind
Yeah,
of like that he was dumb and
yeah,
that he's just like still learning how to be. And like, even though he's like messing up and destroying stuff, it's like, yeah, when that's the thing about superhero movies is it's the one thing I can kind of watch and just be like, oh, okay, they're murdering people. And I don't really like, when he's flying through there, I'm like, no, he's trying to catch this guy. And
yeah.
everyone else, just kind of got caught in a windfall.
Yeah, but I hate
Because
that.
of,
Like, there's that scene in this Guardians where they're like, make him talk, Adam, and he like mute, he melts the guy, and he's like,
yeah,
there's like, and the idea is, well, that was stupid. Now he can't talk, and I get the humor of it, but I hate those things. There was a similar scene in Thor Ragnarok where Jeff Goldblum's people, melted a guy. So the melted a guy trope is not my favorite. I don't like it when these people just be
I get
killing
it.
folks. It's just really bothersome to
But I
me.
mean, there's so
But
many.
him
Go
him
for it.
being a dunce is funny. Him Adam Warlock
Yeah.
character development. I thought you got to see development throughout the film, and he was a dunce. He was sometimes an annoying character, but not in a detracting way. He was like, oh gosh, this guy's here, like in the great way, like Gamora's about to get out, but now she got to deal with this. Oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
it was good, and the trope of him being stupid, him connecting with that animal, and then by the time he has a full arc in the film that
Yeah, he
is
kind of
told the
turned around,
backstory. Yeah, I
He-
thought it was good.
he-
I mean, I thought it was good. I didn't know much about this character. The thing about the Guardians, is we maybe as Americans or whatever, or people that aren't, reading every single comic book, you might not know much about these Guardians characters because I didn't know Adam Warlock was to the marketing.
I've probably known Adam Warlock might be a character that I don't know if he's came across the X-Men or something, but that character seems familiar to me only in passing.
Sure.
No, but like nothing crazy for me for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But a lot of these characters are. Miss Marvel and stuff. What they're doing with that. I saw a preview for the Marvels movie. I think that's pretty funny.
Dude, that looks dope. I
Um,
really enjoyed, although it was also stupid, but I really enjoyed Kamala Khan's story. What was Miss Marvel? Isn't wait
yeah, the
Miss Marvel?
Captain. Yeah, Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
That
the
was
show
great.
was Miss Marvel. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it, but also it
I
was.
felt like I felt like I should be a teenage girl watching this movie or like show. I was like, oh, I'm not the target
I'm not
audience,
the
but
target audience, but also like there has to be a mix of a good suspension of disbelief, and which believe it, bringing us full circle, Dave Batista wrote about that in his book. I read his book. He wrote a book. They were having wrestlers write a bunch of books. So he was on top of the pro wrestling at the time, and he wasn't even an actor yet. And he wrote his book, and I read it, and he talked about that the importance of storytelling, the importance of a suspension of disbelief, and how that worked in his wrestling career. Because sometimes WWE would do house shows, and house show is not a televised event, but you get to go and pay a ticket, and you get to see all the wrestlers. And sometimes, like he had the championship, and the championship's on the line at the house show. Now the audience knows that there's no way that they're going to let the title change hands at a
at a house show.
non-televised show. But the burden then, or the dilemma, the goal, the obstacle then is for the performers, the two wrestlers in the ring, to for a moment or two to make you believe, oh
Yeah.
shoot, they might change the title at the house show.
Yeah.
Like you're in the stands, you're just like, oh my, wait, could this happen? And that is called suspension of disbelief, and it's used all over media and all over entertainment and storytelling and creation. But to see
Yeah,
that in
politics is great
wrestling,
at
huh?
it.
What is it?
The politics is great at it.
In politics, yeah, suspension of disbelief. And so one thing and so Marvel has to use now bringing it back to Marvel. Dave Bautista obviously plays Drax. That's why I mentioned that. But so Marvel, what they have to do is they have to suspend disbelief. And then so when sometimes people are like, "This is annoying. It
My
can't happen
God.
in real life." You're like,
They
"Yes, but you're watching a thing about superheroes. Of course, it can't happen."
they suspended disbelief in this movie so much. I thought so many people were going to die so many times, and I
Yeah,
was just like, this movie is just it was like a whole bunch of clutching your pearls kind of
yeah,
moments. Just like, ah,
yeah, yeah.
I was like, okay, all right, you got me again, and you got me again.
The good thing about this is I think it's a testament to storytelling and filmmaking, and I love that you're here to talk about this too because I know that you have a passion for film, have created film, been in a lot of projects, been in a lot of behind the scenes and from every aspect of the filmmaking business. But I think for storytelling and for film, I think I said this too. It really doesn't matter the subject matter. It's really how you tell the story, and it's really
Yeah,
because essentially like we have people crying over a CGI raccoon. Do you know what I mean? Like people
oh,
are crying
absolutely.
over what could
And
happen, and that's just storytelling and filmmaking.
think if they made that 1984 with like Mac and Me type prosthetics,
Yeah,
like no one would give a shit about this
yeah.
raccoon, Like, okay,
I mean,
you
sure,
know,
whatever you say, bro.
yeah. I loved the big thing that I did love about the movie is Rocket finally said he's a raccoon. He
Yeah,
finally
yeah,
discovered that he was a raccoon, and it
right.
was like, all right, Rocket Raccoon, I am then,
Yeah,
and he's still alive. I wasn't sure they're going to bring him back, but I think it's really great because James Gunn is gone,
yeah,
but that still leaves space for all these characters to be in Marvel,
yeah,
and
yeah. They're still
somehow, some way, they're going to be able to pop up. Just because the band broke up doesn't mean that they're not going to do some solo albums or something and pop up.
exactly. And
They
they already
could
have
have
a
like
Guardians team, so if they want to just make
yeah,
another Guardians
they
movie, they got a team still.
they could just make a TV show called Nowhere, and
Yeah,
like have it based in that place,
yeah, heck yeah.
and
I think
but
no, I agree with that wholeheartedly. The thing about Batista, I was gonna say, because I'm sorry at making points and then I forget the point I'm going to. I said this earlier in the thing was, the marketing kind of led you to think that certain characters weren't gonna make it, certain characters were gonna die,
oh yeah,
or they
yeah,
were just
yeah.
gonna. But at the end of the film, it's not that anyone died; it's just they kind of went their own ways, like you were saying. But the thing about Batista is, at the same time that this marketing is going out saying, hey, watch out, somebody, basically somebody might die. That's the buzz around it. Or maybe we'll lose some characters. At the same time that's going on, Dave Batista gets on like podcasts or interviews or whatever he's at, and he's like maybe late night shows or something, some kind of interview or something. He's like, I'm done with Drax. He's like, man, it was a great character. I love the opportunity, but I don't want that to be my legacy in in as an actor.
That
Like I
very
want to
well
do,
could be, you know.
and so he wants to do something different. And so my thought to you is, well, let me ask you two questions real quick. So the first one is answer quickly, and I ask you the real question afterwards. Did you ever hear Dave Bautista talk about that he was done with Drax?
Yeah,
All right.
totally. And I
After seeing
mean,
the movie, here's the follow up that I really want to ask you. After seeing the movie, do you buy that, or do you think that was just a lead into the buzz that some people are dying and stuff?
I mean, I do buy that for now, mainly because I also read somewhere that he didn't like putting on the makeup more than anybody else in the cast. So he probably doesn't want to do any roles where he's going to be, forced to cover himself up completely anymore.
Yeah.
And but then again, who's to say that in 10 years after his run and string of movies that he doesn't come back to this character?
Sure. Exactly.
We never know. I never thought I would live to see the day for them to ruin Luke Skywalker for me, but I sure did.
Ah.
Um, you know,
We
like
could talk about that. I never was a big Star Wars fan, but I started getting into it, and I watched most of the Star Wars live action media. I'm behind on some shows now, so I probably have like 20 episodes of total. In about 20 episodes time, I will have finished all of the Star Wars series. But I don't know, man. Star Wars is only mildly interesting to me, to be honest. It's not like crazy.
well, it's the classic thing of good and evil, and I mean, I did like them growing up because whatever VHS tapes your parents owned,
Yeah,
you watched them.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we ripped off HBO movies. We would get
Sure.
HBO free for a month
And
and
just
record everything we could.
yeah,
And then we had our 20, 30 movies, that
yeah,
we
heck yeah,
recorded. And the original Star Wars was like that when Han shot first. That was
yeah. And they
but like it was the
editing and
old school
stuff.
one. I
Yeah,
mean, I didn't understand it, but that's one thing that I think is cool when you're a kid and you watch movies that are adult movies and you can understand it as you get older. You just
yeah,
want to dissect it even more. So like when the prequels came out, I didn't hate on them at all because I'm like, okay, this is what George Lucas wanted me to love. So I'm going to
yeah,
try to love it because it's what he wanted me to love.
yeah. One of
And
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was never against the filmmaker. I always believe in the filmmaker. I'm
Even if
always
something is trash, if you watch something and you're like, "That's
it's bad.
horrible,"
I'm like, I mean, Mario Brothers movie, the original one in
original one,
'90.
yeah,
You know, you always want to root for them, but they just didn't do a good vision. Like I'm not
yeah.
really ever going to hate on a director because I know
What
it's
it's
tough.
like. I'm
You
like that
know,
with stand up. I'm a stand up comic, and oftentimes I go to these open mics. It's kind of where stand ups, kind of work out like a gym. And I go to open mic, and somebody will, or even to an actual comedy show. Typically, it doesn't happen so much on shows, but sometimes it does. But somebody will just eat their tail, like they're crap on stage and just won't be good.
oh for sure.
But what I do is I always like to support that person because I know what it's like in pretty much every kind of aspect. Like I've done great and I've done terrible and I've thought something's going to work and it didn't work and I've had people that audience doesn't listen or they do all that stuff. I've been, and sometimes I work pretty clean, and a lot of comedy is a lot of males talking about their junk. You know what I mean? It's a lot of like poop and pee pee and sexual jokes and all that stuff. And I might not relate to the material so much if someone comes up there and they're doing something like really gross or whatever. But I always tell the comic, like, I'm proud of you for getting up there and for doing it. And I have the same thing. Like, I feel for the comic, even if I don't agree with their material, even if I don't agree with their position. You know what I mean? Maybe they're just like hardcore, left or right, and they think everybody should be this or that, and they're making it. I might not agree with any of that stuff, but I pull for them. Like, I'm always pulling for the
For sure.
comic, even if it's like someone
You
I
want
can't.
everybody
Yeah,
to do good. I mean, I don't think,
yeah.
and if you don't want anybody to succeed in this world, then there's a word for that, and it's called hater.
Hmm.
Like
Heck yeah,
it's
man.
nobody wants to be the biggest hater unless you're on Chappelle's show doing the hater awards.
Heck yeah, bro. Man, there was three things that I feel like that we talked about in here about Guardians 3 that I wanted to bring back around. And
Um,
one of them was the Dave Bautista thing, and there was two more, and I should have
well, I don't
wrote
know.
them down, but I
You
didn't.
talk about Nebula real quick.
Yeah, we didn't talk. Yeah, we definitely didn't go through each character. We just did the ones we came about. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Nebula and her arc for this film?
I liked her arm. Her new arm that Rocket made her is pretty awesome. I
Yeah,
like I like that every single character in this movie feels more polished than the last time we saw him.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can almost feel like the closeness even more.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, it's like badminton. It's like watching two people just volley back and forth, and
Yeah.
no matter who was acting with who,
Right. Right.
Nebula is really in her own element as her character knows what she's going to do, and I like that she's still mean, but with a purpose of
Sure.
saving people. You know, like
Yeah.
she like took her meanness and made it discipline,
Yeah.
and I think that's something you can say about even Gamora. Gamora's more disciplined than any of the other movies. I don't know. In this one, she made a couple of moves, that were shocking, but she's a Ravager.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone coming in was fun.
I think so. Two things on that. One of them was one thing I did want to say. So I'll start with Gamora first. Did any part of you think? So for me, at the end when she goes back to her Ravengers, any part of you think that she was going to be romantically linked to like Stallone the whole time, like to Stallone's character or something?
Oh,
I thought when she went back to hug her people that she was going to
very
kiss like Stallone
possible,
or
but
something.
that never crossed my mind. I don't know. I do have a funny story that I heard about what they did on set to Sylvester Stallone, and James Gunn and Chris Pratt were just trying to have him with a mic on and record him. I'm going to go take a shit.
Okay.
And they, I don't. They were just trying. They were just like, hey, what do you say when you have to poop or whatever? And he was. They just had a conversation. They could not make him say. He's like, I'm not going to say it.
That's
He's
awesome.
like, I know you're trying to make me do.
That's awesome, man. What all right, so there was that one, and then the other thing you talk about. Oh, so Karen, oh gosh, Jillian, I think is who plays Nebula. I think that's the actress' name. I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But she one thing she said, it might have been her and the actress who plays Gamora too. I can't remember, but one thing she said was it's like these their MOs have changed, Gamora and Nebula. Like in the first iteration,
Yeah, they kind of switched
they kind of,
spots.
yeah, kind of switch spots. And then that brings me to, so what do you think about them switching spots? And then what do you think about a possible romantic link between Nebula and Star-Lord?
No, that won't happen.
You don't think so?
No, no, no. I think Star Lord Rambo'd himself and went back, kind of like how Rambo went through New Mexico at the end of the fourth one. Finally, he's like, "All right, I'm hanging up my boots and I'm going back home." And so I think that if we run into Star Lord again, it's going to be on Earth while he's chilling with Grandpa.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, because where's Nebula now? What is she? Is she running that thing with Drax? Like she's at
yeah,
nowhere?
she's running the city.
She's running nowhere? Okay. So
Yeah,
that's Nebula. That brings me to another thing. So in that post-credit scene, we see his home and stuff. Um, Me and my wife had a discrepancy of what we heard. We only saw the movie once, and she heard one thing. I heard something else. What did you hear? What do you think? So Star Lord's eating like cereal or something, eating breakfast with his grandpa or something, and they mentioned something about they referenced a guy. He's like, well, it's kind of weird for me to cut somebody's 45-year-old, grass. That'd be weird. But he mentions this guy. I thought it was the woman that answered the door. I thought he was talking about her son. Nikki thought maybe some neighbor or something. Who do you think they were talking about?
I did not stay for the post-credit scene because that movie was long and I had stuff to do, so I did not read about the post-credit scene.
Oh my gosh, Morgan. Oh, did you even see the one about Loki then? That post-credit scene?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the credits were amazing. They showed set photos and stuff from all the films. They showed all kind of cool stuff. Kevin Bacon's in there. In the post-credit scene, I'll tell you about it. So spoilers, we've been saying, but in the post-credit scene, the dad's sitting there, the grandfather's sitting there, in the post credits. The grandfather's sitting there, and on his paper, he's reading the newspaper, talking to his son Quill, or grandson, and he like closes it. But on the paper, it shows it said Kevin Bacon talks about his alien encounter.
Oh yeah, from the Guardians
From the holiday special. I
That holiday special was highly enjoyable, and I will watch it
same.
again probably for years to
Probably
come.
next year. Yeah, I thought the holiday special was really dope. I thought it was really cool. I think James Gunn is.
I don't know what Christmas is, but Christmas time is here is definitely on my Christmas playlist
Yeah.
forever. That was so funny to me. I love that song.
Nah, it was really cool. That band, the 88s or something. Is that who
Yeah.
it was? Yeah. They're
Yeah.
really dope. That
Even the guy with the mohawk had his character arc in Guardians 3. He hit Mr. Whistleman or whatever. You know, the guy that was like trying to figure out the arrow. I can't remember his name,
oh
but
yeah,
he grew up with
okay.
Quill
That
and
is,
Rondi.
that's in real life. That's James Gunn's brother.
I believe that.
Yeah, that's his actual brother. And I saw an article or no interview with him, and they were like, hey, would you do this character now that James is at DC? Would you still do your I can't think of his character's name. Would you still do the character? He's like, man, I'm open to whatever. If Kevin calls me, Kevin Feige, if he calls me up, like
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. They say, will you ever, hop into DC? He's like, man, whatever. Like my brother's there. I trust him, and
Yeah, the future is open. You know,
yeah,
you can't ever say no to anything. Come
yeah.
on.
I mean, these are actors too,
Opportunity.
man. They got to work. They got to work and independent
Yeah.
contractors. One thing I noticed, you had, and I want to. Well, this might be a bigger conversation, but one thing I've thought about. I've been a professional entertainer now for, well, off and on. I mean, since I've been working, but I mean, I've been like where I didn't have I don't have a side gig for the most part. I'm
The
just
strip
doing.
club life works out for you, man.
Yeah, man. I've been stripping for a minute now, and yeah, man. They call. I've been stripping. Oh, what's my stripper name? My stripper name
Big
is
Red.
Big Red. Yeah. They call me Big Red. I'm 5'2". But no. So yeah. One thing I noticed though is, I'm a comic and I do virtual team building and game shows for companies and stuff, and so I'm a gig worker though. And
Yeah,
one thing I noticed about, my dreams of being an entertainer, and you see this stuff, is like you always have to be selling. You always have to finish, always be closing, whatever. You always have to like get these gigs and get your work and stuff. And I remember watching Entourage back in the day before I was like a professional entertainer, and they were like, you got to book your next film before this film comes out, and
networking was the biggest part of it. Yeah.
yeah, that's something I'm noticing is like there's also a stress to it for me. It was like, you know, if I don't have a certain amount of gigs booked ahead of time, I start feeling stressed and worried. And I have that now. I'm having this year's been slower for me bookings
Yeah.
wise. And it's like, bro, what I got to do to fix XYZ and stuff. And so as an actor, I don't know, I think I'm just talking about overall, like as an actor, as a filmmaker.
Maybe come up with new games too. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
always evolving. But I
Yeah.
mean, when I was in movies and stuff, that was half the battle. I shot a couple of spec commercials and for not a studio production company, and they put up the money. I mean, I did. Long story short, is I pulled strings. They didn't want me to pay my people, but I needed to pay my people. So I had done favors for so many people in LA that I was able to get a camera for $100, and it was a
Wow.
red camera with lenses.
Wow.
And then we had lights, that we were able to use for free, and we had gear. And then I paid $100 for catering for 3 days, and then I paid all my crew.
What'd you feed them? PB&Js? How'd you feed a crew
It was
for 3
amazing.
days?
I found this woman that was willing to do it for free, just for experience and networking and meeting people, because she was off. And, she was like, I kind of have stuff, you're providing me, and I'm just able to do it and keep busy. And
Wow. Did you buy the actual food, like the food cost?
she did. I paid $100, and she went out and did
She
everything
made
for
everything else
us.
work.
I
Yeah.
think I paid her $100 a
That is
day.
crazy. Is that the Doritos shoot you did? The
Yeah,
Doritos commercial?
yeah. I did a fake Doritos commercial and a fake Hallmark commercial, but the Hallmark commercial never saw the light of day.
But that Doritos
Um,
commercial has a cool story, right?
yeah. I don't know. It was a transvestite eating Doritos, but I mean, I don't know. What do you mean? Cool story. But
Oh. Oh, was it Oh gosh, is it a cancelable? No, I thought it was cool because
it's not cancelable, because the only thing it was here's the thing. Here's the setup of the commercial. It's just a woman walking in high heels, and everyone is looking at her, and like a guy's holding his garden hose. He sprays his friend in the face.
Yeah.
The guy's going to kiss his wife, and he like looks at her, and everyone's thinking they're staring at the transvestite, but no, they want Doritos.
Yeah, but so you had that you made that thing, but the thing I thought was cool about it is there's a spec commercial, but then they end up selling it and using that in another country.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, I know it sucks for you because
I don't know where. I can't tell you where, but I remember I got like an email from a guy that worked there. It was like, yeah, they ended up selling it to da 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 da, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that
like
commercial
Croatia or something.
aired
And I
in
was
like
like,
Bulgaria or something. Like that commercial was airing,
okay,
and you didn't get no money for it though, because a crappy
no,
deal, right?
yeah, but
Um, all right, so that's a fun story. But back to Guardians. I don't know.
back to
Basically, just
Guardians real
saying
quick.
about the
But there's
gigs. You got to keep everything open, even when you're on the top. These top, movie star and stuff. You always got to keep your brand going. You always got to be booking. You always got to be closing. That is an
yeah,
exhausting part of this business that I didn't quite understand. Where it's like, gosh, I don't want to have to do all that crap. I just want to work. I just want to do the work. I don't want to
yeah,
have to like find the work and schedule the work and get the
yeah.
work. But and so that's one part of it. So I don't know why I related to that for now. I don't know. But the thing you just said reminded me of the Russo brothers had this podcast they talked to or show where they talked to other directors, and this one guy they were talking to just did this Billie Eilish documentary that's on Hulu, and he said he was taught to be a filmmaker you got to have a bank robber's mentality. If you don't got it, you just got to get what you can. Basically, what I took from that is you got to be scrappy in order to get the stuff
Yeah.
done. And what you just said to me, Morgan, demonstrated your scrappiness. It sounded like in order to get that shoot done, you were
Oh,
scrapping.
you did whatever
Yeah.
was possible. I mean, there was another time I had to I was working on a film shoot, and this is fate. I don't know what you want to call this, but I was working on a commercial, and they were shooting a monkey wearing a wig, and the footage didn't come out looking right. And I was an executive producer's assistant on this. I was an office assistant on this commercial. It was Ridley Scott's company, and then uh, they were like, "Yeah, we need a Panasonic HPX 200, and we've called all over the place, and we just need one." And I was like, "I own that camera."
Oh, wow.
And they were like, "What?" And they were like, "Can we rent that from you?" I'm 3 weeks out of film school, and I was like, "If I can direct the reshoot, yeah."
Yeah.
And they were like, "It can't be like union, but you can run the camera, talk to the director, and you can direct a reshoot." And I was like, "All right," And I
Yeah.
got it on the call sheet as like a second unit camera, like I don't even remember. It might have been. It had director in the title though. It was like I was like, "All right, I'm sold." And it was like $500 plus mileage, but right out of film school and make that work. I knew if and they're like, "Well, we need a cameraman." I was like, "I got a cameraman." It was a guy that was Nito. I went to film school with him, but he's 4 hours away. And I was like, "Get here as fast as you can." I was like,
Yeah.
"Let me get here in two." And
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
back his car and just came in and got a job with me. And we went and shot it. And it was his first film gig out of school.
That's
You know,
awesome, man. It's cool that you were networking and gave him that opportunity too. And Nito went on. I mean, he's doing a lot of stuff. He did a lot of
yeah,
shows,
he's
right?
in the union now. He's
Yeah.
second unit camera op for a lot of stuff. But I mean, you always if you don't have it, act like you got it. Like I
Yeah.
mean, I pitched a movie in film school that got made. I was supposed to have 20 people, and what they agreed to do with their job was in my class. I had 3 people agree to do this movie, and I wrote in everyone else's names. And
Ah.
it was like what I thought they'd be good at. And I was like, if they're not behind me, they're gonna have to be because there's only gonna be two.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. I don't. You got to do what you got to do. You got to be scrappy.
Oh,
And I think.
hold on one second.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Oh shoot, my girl called me. I'm gonna send her a message here.
Say, send her the YouTube link so you can watch on YouTube.
Oh,
You want to see what we're doing? You can check it
totally.
out on YouTube. I am looking here. Let's see what we got. Uh, let's see that, this. What's this? All right, that's not working. Okay, that's not good. All right. Um, Also, I think Mondays for a live stream, Mondays in the afternoon, I think just no one is there for the live stream. But that's all right, because thank you guys for watching it post live stream. Everybody, the millions of people that are listen, I appreciate you guys for being a part of our community. All 17 million of you. We'd love to talk longer. We're probably going to wrap it up soon, but you guys are just the best for
Man,
watching.
I'm trying to. Okay, share a clip. That's not what I want to do.
Morgan.
I'm not
It's
knowing how to do
yeah,
this stuff, but
yeah, it's all good.
we're old and figuring out. But I don't know. I'm
All
not
right,
too
take
worried
us
about
home,
it.
Momo. Let's
Uh,
see. We talked a little about the movie industry, and
well,
let's
or if
talk
you want to see
about this time.
Guardians 3, watch it. Be prepared to cry like 3 or 4 times
Yep.
because you're going to think people are going to die, and then it's all going to be okay in the end. Everyone's going to save the day, and it's awesome. That's just it was a good movie. It was a good James Gunn movie. Everyone meshed well together. There's a good Into the Guardians thing that they got going on.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the reboot of Superman. I want Superman Legacy to be as
Superman
awesome as I.
Legacy. Yep. I can't wait for
Yeah,
that too.
I'm
That
like super
is.
happy for James Gunn. I'm like when that's what happens when you're a fan of a celebrity. You just root for people that you don't know and you act like you know them.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I've been following James. I've been following you for years. Yeah, I don't
Right.
know you, at all, but
But I want the best for you. I
that
loved it.
DC, yeah,
And
is going up.
DC needs it. Chris Pratt, I saw him say something really cool. Something they were like, "Would you ever do a DC thing?" Now that James over there, he's like, "James over there, sure, man. Who knows? I'm open to whatever." But I think the coolest thing I said to James was, I was like, "James, when you were a kid, did you ever think that one day Batman and Superman would need you?" And that is such a dope line. That's a dope
Yeah,
line, and that is cool because man, DC films have just sucked for like a minute. Ever since, yeah, they just been sucked for a minute, and this James Gunn idea is great. He's got a group over there. He's got some random DC people I saw in that announcement that he made a couple months ago. This group, I don't know nothing about them, but basically, it sounds like they're basically a Guardians. Like you know how DC and Marvel have the
well, yeah, it's
the
I
same
can't remember who they
characters.
are either. I can't remember the actor that's playing Frankenstein. He was in Stranger Things. He was Hellboy. Um, David something.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, he's also in Black Widow. But David
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
David can't think of his name. Anyway, yeah, Hopper, but
But
whatever.
yeah, but yeah, he's going to be Frankenstein in the DC universe, so
Oh
that's
my
going to be fun to
gosh,
watch.
that's interesting. But yeah, man. So looking forward to what they do at DC because all they got all the best superheroes but the worst movies lately, and
Yeah.
you really could. It's interesting to make a very interesting Superman. It's hard to make a because that character is, I think, a hard thing to write for, and you just got to be smart to write a good, like, compelling film. And one thing I'll say is that the Superman TV show right now, Superman and Lois, is a CW kind of like
Yeah.
cheesy show too, but it's incredible the story arcs they do with Superman. I'm really impressed with it. So I'm being impressed to see what James Gunn can do with DC. I think that'll be dope.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so my
But I
thoughts on
mean,
the movie, I thought it was pretty good. And last thing we're going to ask you is like, as a film, would you say is this like one of the great films? Like, if you had to show.
okay, so 3 out of 5 VHS tapes for me on this one, and it's only
Wow.
because it didn't have. I wanted more humor. It was
Wow.
a
3 out of
fantastic
5. Morgan
movie.
hit it with a 3
Three
out
and
of
a
5.
3.5, 3.5 out of 5.
Three
Only because I
VHS
wanted to.
tapes and one cassette mixtape.
Yeah,
One. 3 out of
I don't
5.
know.
Wow,
I might
man.
give it a 4. I might give it a 4, but I mean,
Nah,
it was.
dude, do it a 3. Whatever you do, man.
I don't know, 3.5 or 4. I'm leaning. But
Yeah.
the only thing I can say bad about the movie is that I wanted to splash more humor that they
Yeah.
normally have. The Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, humor was everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I get that this is a darker movie to tell and
Sure.
harder to tell, but man, I just wanted to splash.
Just a little splash. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I understand a little splishy
'Cause the biggest
splash.
joke I can think of right now from that movie is Zargnuts. When Mantis wanted a Zargnut,
Yeah, yeah,
Zargnut,
yeah.
and he's like, "I'm out. They don't have any more." And then he like ate another
He
one.
just kept eating them.
Yeah, funniest part of the movie, and that's sucks that that's what I can think of as the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah. All right. So 3 out of 5. If I had to rate it,
3.5.
three, three
3.5.
VHSs and one Betamax. I got it.
Yeah.
If I had to rate the film, bro, I don't know, man. I would say, to me, it was much higher. It was really dope. Yeah, it could have been funnier, sure, but I didn't leave the theater thinking that. I think overall, my thing is I don't like people dying unnecessarily. It's one thing I don't like about these films. All things aside, all crap you could say about Whedon, Joss Whedon as a director, Whedon really cares about the little side stories. If you see anything Whedon, he always cares about like some family or some person on the ground getting saved. You see that as an arc in his stuff, a recurring theme, and that's something I like. Is like I don't like seeing people just getting murked. And I don't care if it's like maybe not the most believable. I love it when
Yeah.
somehow the people aren't dying, and so that's one
Oh,
thing
sure.
I
But
would.
I mean, it's like mafia movies, right? The people that really like mafia movies aren't the people that you want to be friends with anyway, because they don't get it that it doesn't work out in the end. You never get away with being bad.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
the
yeah.
people that super love this, I'm like, okay, cool. But have you seen the part where they get caught? Every
Right,
bad guy ever,
right.
you know?
Yeah,
And if you
exactly.
don't, I mean, and if you don't be a bad person, you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
being caught.
yeah.
What are you going to catch me do? Eating Doritos? Like, come
Exactly.
on.
Yeah, yeah, just don't be a bad person. Exactly. I know. Yeah. So for me, this movie, I wish it have a unnecessary like people dying, like dumb people. Like I hated that part, but I would give it 4 out of. I wonder if my rating system is gonna be the same as your rating system because you came up with the VHS tapes. I was like, that's a dope idea. I don't know if we should use that as a podcast or maybe I should come up
Why
with my
not?
own.
No, you
I'm
keep
like
your
my,
own.
mine
You want
is
to say popcorn buckets? Use a
popcorn.
popcorn.
Yeah, I could do popcorn. I could do slap bracelets. I got 5. I don't know something, but I like tapes, man. Tapes is dope. But I would give it 4 of whatever we do. I'd give it four
VHS tapes, four
point.
VHS tapes.
I would say 4.5, man. I'm gonna give it 4. I'm gonna give it 4 VHs. I'm gonna give it 4 VHSs and 1 box of snow caps. That's what I'm giving this
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Fair.
I highly recommend it if you've seen the other ones. One of my favorite Marvel movies of all time. It's hard to beat Endgame and Infinity War. Those are some of the best.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is
And Spider-Man.
and Spider-Man. Yeah,
The
this
whole
is
trilogy.
well. Yeah, I got it. We can talk about those. I do love them. The Tom Holland Spider-Mans I think are better than the other Spider-Mans for sure. But there's some stuff that's like not my favorite. I think it's because I'm just not a teenager. But they're still really great. And the third Spider-Man in the Marvel
This is the
Cinematic
best.
Universe, so good. And the Miles Morales, the Spider Verse ones, the cartoons are really good too. Um,
Sure.
but anyway, all right, yeah. So of that, man, bro, this movie was dope. One of my favorites. It's different from Endgame and Civil War and other Russo projects. It definitely has
It's
a different
different. It's
tone.
way better. Honestly, I'm going to move it up to a 4 just because of how I didn't care for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's my least favorite of the trilogy. I
It was
liked it. It was
different.
good. It was, yeah, but I liked 1 and 3
Yeah.
way better. So I'll move it up to 4 VHS tapes for me.
Oh, we got another VHS tape from Morgan. All right, cool, man. Well, I definitely recommend it. I think it's dope. And Morgan, what's our sign off?
Be kind, rewind.
There you go, friends. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out more funny content, we have it on this channel. New shorts every day and funny stand-up you'll find in a more regular actually, we got some other regular content coming, but it's coming. Right now, though, this is Morgan Neighbor, and he said be kind, rewind, and this is Olive. And, yeah, I think we out, Morgan. Thanks so much, brother.
All right, man. Thanks, buddy.
Great to
It was
see
good
you,
talking.
man. All right, cool.
too,
I'm going to
bud.
stop the stream.
Talk
Bye,
to you.
y'all. He left. Are you still there? No, you still